Top 10 Best Criminal Minds Episodes. Hello and welcome back to Superstar 10s. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. 10. Amplification. Amplifications is a season 4 episode of Criminal Minds featuring a terrorist named Chad Brown and a serial killer. Ansep in this episode wanted to do one thing. He wanted to show Americans how vulnerable the country was to terrorist attacks, and to do that, he had an anthrax attack. Became a domestic terrorist who performed. What is striking here is that Reed is infected with B. anthracis and is trying to find the real culprit from the quarantine before his death. Fortunately, there was an antidote. 9. True Genius. True Genius is an episode of right-centric Criminal Minds. This is BAU's trip to San Francisco when they believe the Zodiac killer may have returned a few years later. Of course, this wasn't a real Zodiac case, but a child prodigy named Caleb was intrigued by the first murder that the police didn't resolve. As a prodigy, that put him in Wright's wheelhouse, and the episode had him working hard to recapture the confidence he lost when he believes he hasn't lived up to his expectations in life. 8. Zugzwang. Zugzwang is a season 8 episode and is a large raid episode as a stalker abducts his girlfriend, as it's far as much as the BAU crew to discover and keep her earlier that it's far too late. The unsub right here becomes very twisted because it becomes a female named Diane performed through Buffy the Vampire Slayer actress Michelle Trachtenberg. Diane was someone that damaged Reed more than almost anyone when she killed herself and Reed's girlfriend Maeve at the same time, leaving him broken for most of the rest of the season. 7. Date Night. Date Night is one of the best episodes of the final season of Criminal Minds. This episode brings back one of the most memorable unsub of her third season in Cat Adam, played by Aubrey Plaza. She first appeared as a hitwoman that Reed helped bring down. She returned when she set up an elaborate plan to frame Reed and send him to jail. This episode has her preparing for her executions, but she has one more move, as she demands one date with Reed before she dies and has his girlfriend's father and sister kidnapped to force this to happen. 6. Believer. In season 13, the episode Believer was the season finale and the 299th episode of Criminal Minds. The unsub here is called The Strangler, someone a former profiler believes the team missed and had been tracking since he quit the FBI. The Strangler is the serial killer and cult leader who targeted Reed, along with his followers, a spin-off group from Benjamin Cyrus's old cult that the BAU helped bring down a decade earlier. Reed has to choose between helping a double agent in the group or doing nothing and allowing Garcia to die. 5. Mostly Lane. One aspect of crime dramas that can turn people off is a lot of the cases involve children. A point in Criminal Minds' favor is that it always handles those stories delicately, just as the writers did with Mostly Lane. The episode saw JJ visited by the mother of a missing child when a new and very similar case became public knowledge. JJ realized that there was a distinct possibility that the woman's son was still being held. The storyline involved several kids being raised as a family by their kidnappers. It was one about hope for their families of missing people. 4. Mr. Scratch. While Criminal Minds typically explores the psychology of serial killers, this episode went deeper into the power of suggestion. 3 different killers were all motivated to commit the acts as a result of someone else. The Criminal Minds villain, who became known as Mr. Scratch, would go on to target the group of FBI detectives appearing in 3 more seasons of the show. This particular episode is set his escape as well as the escape of even more serial killers, in motion for a longer story arc. 3. Entropy. Spencer Reed tends to be the subject of hostage situations a lot, but that's likely because he's a fan favorite. And he's the character most likely to talk his way out of a situation. In Entropy, he had to do more than that. He had to outsmart an assassin. The episode began allowing fans to think Reed was on a blind date. In reality, he was pretending to be a client of an assassin. Trying to catch her, Aubrey Plaza, as the Black Widow assassin, was a great guest star, and one whose intellect was a match of Reed. 2. The Tall Man. It's always interesting when an episode is less about the case at hand and more about delving into the backstory of the main character. In this case, it's JJ. When 2 people go missing in the wood, and the third is found, the team investigates a small town ghost story. To help better with the case, JJ goes home with her small town where her big sister died when she was 11. That aspect of JJ's past was explored early in the series, but this episode provided more details, fleshing out the character a bit more for the fans. 1. Lauren. This episode was supposed to be the beginning of the end for Emily Prentice, refilling her job before she joined the BAU. The episode was the kind of adrenaline-fueled ride that most crime dramas only dream of achieving. In it, the team has to band together when Prentice goes missing, as they realize she's tracking a dangerous enemy from her time undercover as a woman named Lauren. They also realize how little they know about her past. Some of the team deal with it better than the others. Though this mission was supposed to culminate in her death, fan outrage saw it as a fake out later in the series. It didn't lessen the emotional punch. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.